This is Halkias, a new rogue legendary, and it's such a sick effect and design. It's a 4-mana 5/4 elemental with Death Rattle. If you control a secret, store Halkias's soul inside of it. It resummons Halkias when triggered. That is such a fun design, and it fuses the two worlds of Secret Rogue and Death Rattle Rogue as well. It's cool pulling these two disparate packages potentially into a single deck. And we're also going to see a couple secrets in this video, sort of maybe 1.5, and some secret support stuff for Rogue as well. So you're getting a nice little tempo package coming together for Secret Rogue. And in particular with Halkias, with the ability to duplicate your Death Rattle effects, cheat more Death Rattles into play with this one, you could theoretically have anywhere from 1 to 3 Halkias chilling inside of a secret, so that your opponent not only, normally activates a secret, giving you, say, a 3/4 with stealth, which we're going to talk about here in a second, but also like maybe 3 Halkias will pop out as well. They might suddenly have 18 damage on board when trying to navigate a secret. And obviously that could be a pretty crazy output here for Halkias. Now, I almost hate to talk about downsides for this card because I think it's going to be so fun and I'm going to enjoy it so much. But of course, there are some awkward moments with this one. Namely, he's a one-of. So, although there are ways to tutor Death Rattles out of your deck, still it's going to take some work potentially to find or put Halkias into play. Also, in many cases, you're going to be leaving up the way this works to your opponent. So assuming it's easy or possible for them to navigate around this, they might just be able to activate your secret first and then kill Halkias, so that Halkias doesn't have a secret on board. There's nowhere to store his soul. The Death Rattle effect and the chain of Halkias ends. And I think getting this off more than once or twice seems just so unlikely. Very often, your opponent is going to be able to figure things out and stop the chain, and you're only going to get maybe just a single use case out of Halkias, maybe one resummon if you're super lucky or can really force the hand based on the way the secrets are proccing or working at a given turn. So there will absolutely be shenanigan decks. I will play the shenanigan decks. I will try to get as many Halkias out as I can. I think for general use case, like practical Hearthstone, this is often just going to be a 4-mana 5/4. It might be one that creates a little bit of awkwardness, though. If it can create problems and make your opponent take some sort of, inoptimal turns, suboptimal turns, that might still be worth it. This is not a huge sacrifice to make, and the upside potential here is pretty high. And if you're able to cheat the Death Rattles into play, like using stuff like sketchy information here, that's going to give you an instant Death Rattle proc for Halkias, right? There are some natural upsides. So I still think it's a playable card. I think that it will still make the cut in some deck lists if they're, of course, running the secret package. Again, just not losing a lot with this one, but in real life, it's going to be harder to make this one work. That said, I am going to play the crap out of this one. This looks really, really fun. So let's talk about this rogue secret. It's Sticky Situation. It's a 2-mana spell, of course, as rogue secrets are. And it reads, after your opponent casts a spell, summon a 3/4 spider with stealth. And yeah, this looks good. We've already seen this in the past with Cat Trick way back in the day with Hunter. That was 2 mana, summon a 4/2 with stealth. And I think this is just a equally good minion in most cases, a little bit more survivable to those like random AoEs that might finish it off like a Holy Nova. Little less attack, but you're willing to sacrifice that, I think, for the health upside. That means it can take a value trade on board into a 3/3 if needed. It can still just go face and create pressure with 3 attack. That's more than enough for having spent 2 mana. So this is like the perfect kind of fuel for a secret package. You need the secrets to be tempo cards in Rogue very often. This is absolutely that. It's a very efficient output card, and I think this will be a key secret for Rogue. And this is the kind of secret that makes me think Rogue is going to run secrets in most of their decks, because this just feels like a really good card to me. And of course, the condition here, after your opponent casts a spell, a vast majority of decks will easily proc that one. It's going to be very hard for many decks to avoid that one in particular. But I will say this is not exactly the perfect secret for Halkias. I think it's going to be very easy often for your opponent to trigger the secret first and then kill Halkias later, because spell is such an easy one to proc that they're going to get rid of the secret immediately. Then you won't control the secret, and then if they kill Halkias, he just goes away. That said, still a really powerful card. That's not going to be a limitation for this one. I think this card gets played a lot. And we've also got this freshly revealed rogue secret. It's Kidnap, a new 2-mana spell. Who could have guessed? It reads, secret, after your opponent plays a minion, stuff it in a 0/4 sack. So a couple questions about how this one works. And here's what I think I've gathered so far. They're going to play the minion. This is an after effect, so things like battle cries should resolve because this is going to do it after the minion is played. It's going to then poof the minion for now, and it's going to summon a 0/4 sack on your side of the board. So that means if the opponent wants their minion back, they're going to need to kill the 0/4 sack. Once they kill the 0/4 sack, the minion does not get resummoned. It actually gets placed back in hand. That, in fact, has been confirmed by a dev that the minion will go back in hand. So it's kind of like a sap style effect, kind of like a freezing trap style effect, more than just a delay on the summon. And that could be really good on a big minion, right? If your opponent plays an 8-drop into this, they're basically going to be wasting 8 mana. They might net a little battle cry value here and there, of course, but the main body is going to be gone and delayed in many cases because they have to also then kill the sack, which takes a little bit of work, a little bit of time, a little disruption, because it's like, okay, well, I got to, instead of hitting face or hitting another minion, I might need to kill the sack. Then I get my minion back, then I would have to replay it. That's the dream scenario. The real life scenario probably is less ideal because your opponent might just play a 1-drop into the sack, and the Kidnap won't really be all that disruptive, much like we've seen these kind of minion play-based secrets in the past with things like Mirror Entity and so on. Sometimes it's really easy to play around them. You just throw away something small. You don't really care that it gets kidnapped. You probably don't even bother with this sack to get it back later. You just keep moving forward, keep your game plan rolling. So it's going to be hard in some cases to line this up in a scenario where it does a lot of work. That said, I still think on average it'll hit 2 and 3 drops because your opponent just won't always have the luxury to play something really small. Not every deck is floating a ton of 1/1 battle cry minions that are the perfect counters to this. So I think it will probably return its mana cost, at least in denying your opponent something of equal or greater mana cost. So I think it'll still be a nice complementary piece to the secret package. I don't think this whiffs at all. Also just offers a little bit of a different condition in this case. But I will have to say, once again, I don't really know that Kidnap here is awesome for Halkias, because it feels like this is a pretty easy one for the opponent to trigger. Like, if Halkias is down, you can just play any minion to trigger Kidnap and then remove Halkias with a second rush minion or a spell, whatever it might be. It's not like they're going to be forced to kill the Halkias first without proccing the secret. I think it's actually pretty easy to trigger this one. So once again, I don't know that Halkias really supports these, but nonetheless, I think the secret package seems pretty good almost outside of the legendary enabling it. But incidentally, you might still get some nice Halkias action. If your opponent is completely spell reliant, for instance, this could still work well to resummon a Halkias. That said, solid looking little secret here. I think this adds to the package. It's not insane, easy to counter in some ways, but will still do a little bit of work on average. So we also got this teaser for another secret. I'm not going to do a full review on this one because number one, the name is not here yet, and we don't know 100% that this effect is going to stick either. This like showed up in a video. It's been translated, so I'm using this as a teaser for what rogue secrets might look like, but we'll discuss this one more in the future. This one reads, secret, if your opponent spent all their mana, draw 2 cards. So this might be a bit of a card draw engine, kind of in that dirty tricks vein of old for rogue, but with a different mechanic here. And at first glance, this one looks pretty good. I think this is another awesome secret for rogue. This package seems to be coming together really nicely. And speaking of good cards here for rogue, we've got the Private Eye, a 4-mana 3/4 with Battlecry. Cast a secret from your deck and combo cast 2 instead. And yeah, this card has a really high output. That combo in particular, you're getting 4 mana worth of stuff drawn out of your deck and put into play immediately on top of this 3/4 body. So that is a very valuable upside. Even at a base level, I don't think Private Eye here is terrible. We've seen similar cards to this do things that do the same thing for a little bit cheaper in the past, but there will still be times that's more than worth it, because drawing things out of your deck, filtering down your deck, improving the quality of draws in your deck for later, all of those are great things, and the Private Eye will probably synergize nicely with other cards in your deck as well, doing secret things. So all in all, this one looks really strong to me. It just does a lot for 4 mana. Halkias is a 3-star card. Sticky Situation is a 4-star card. Kidnap is a 4-star card. Private Eye is a 4-star card. And there you go for this review. What do you think about these designs? How much do you like Hal Chaos? I freaking love this card. I can't wait to play this one. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.